What is up, gamers? There is a huge new patch on the beta today, and we're going to talk about it. So, this is a huge patch for the multiplayer side of Slay the Spire, and there are some little content and balance changes that we'll cover shortly before we talk about some of the new multiplayer cards. But I'm really excited. I'm going to have to play some multiplayer with some of my friends and maybe share that. So, let's start with the content and balance change. First, the Aeon Glass, dude, animation, nice. Um, but end of turn passives now trigger before Doom. So this is for like orbs and stuff. This seems like a niche interaction that'll happen sometimes. Torchhead Amalgam buffed. I don't think that's a. I think the weak tackle doesn't really matter. I think normal tackle. You might take chip on normal tackle at Ascension 9. I don't know. It's not the multi-hit turn when he does a bunch of damage, so I don't think this is crazy. Regen pot triggers before self doom. Niche interaction, but it's nice that you live that you don't die now. I think the Colossus nerf is actually relevant. I think Colossus was the strongest block card on Ironclad. I think it still might be the strongest block card on Ironclad. It just I'll have to play with it and see how I actually feel about it. I think it also just like Colossus as a card just says take half damage. So the nerfing the number on it hurts, but I don't think it fundamentally destroys the card. Crimson Mantle, I don't think this is that big of a nerf. The upgraded value is still same, and I think generally you might upgrade it more often now is one change. Howl from Beyond, I don't think this needed a buff. I think this was a extremely strong card. Setup Strike, I think could have used a little bit of a buff. I think this is a nice little buff for Setup Strike. I would have done 2 to 4 on the upgrade instead of 3 to 4. But I think it feels like flex from the first game. Reworked Outbreak card. This is crazy, dude. I'm so excited to play with this. Every 3 times you apply poison, deal 15 damage to all enemies. Change to whenever you apply poison, deal 3, upgraded to 4 damage to all enemies. So I think that this is going to be very relevant because oftentimes when you were playing poison cards before, you were only playing like 1 poison card a turn. And usually you weren't triggering Outbreak fast enough. You weren't getting enough benefit out of the card. So I think this is very appealing to me, is what I'll say. I don't care about Anticipate. I don't think I take Anticipate often. It should. Anticipate just felt weak, and I still think it feels weak. I don't like the flex design of the card, I think. Like, I don't think I'm going to take an Anticipate and then play a bunch of Defense and get some insane value out of it. The strength of Flex in the first game was that you'd play Flex and then you'd play a bunch of multi-hit cards. I don't think you can play blocks in the same way that you played attacks in the first game with, like, Flex. I don't think Anticipate is... I don't think this is a change that matters. And Anticipate, I think, is still mediocre. I think the Flick Flack upgrade is quite relevant. I remember every time I've taken Flick Flack before, I'm like, this isn't Dagger Spray, you know? And I think the little damage upgrade makes it feel a little better to take. The tracking nerf. I think this is pretty deserved. Tracking's just one of the strongest. It might be the strongest damage buffer in the game. Weak enemies take double damage from attacks. Nerf to weak enemies take 50% more damage from attacks. This is so reasonable, and I'm happy to see this change, I think. Buff Devastate. I still don't think I take Devastate. It's just kind of an awkward card. It costs a lot of stars, and I think it still is going to fall within the realm of not doing enough damage compared to the star payoff rare cards. So I don't think I'm going to see much play out of Devastate. Buff Divine Destiny. Star gain increased from 6 to 7. 6, 7. I like this change. I've taken Divine Destiny before, and I don't think it's overpowered at 7 stars. I think it's still maybe a little bit weak. I think 7 is still weak, but I think that 7 is a much nicer card because of 7 stars. I'll probably play with this a bunch. Regen is my favorite class. Guards nerf. You can nerf this card as much as you want, baby. Dude, this card's OP. Fundamentally, if they made this thing like 6 and then the upgrade makes it like 9, I still think guards would be overpowered. Guards is just such a good card. And they buffed Resonance. I actually love to take Resonance, and now that it costs 2 stars, I think I love it even more. Resonance is just kind of so the numbers on Resonance are small. Right? So it's 1 strength. You gain 1 strength, an enemy loses 1 strength. And then we can go look at in the game real quick. But upgraded to 2 strength. I like this card a lot, especially with the rare card. If you can get a Resonance and play it with decisions, I feel like it goes very, very hard, very powerful. But the change in the cost, I think, is quite relevant in just the playability of the card. Because a lot of things cost 3 stars and have much more output than Resonance, admittedly. But I like Resonance a lot. They buffed Haunt. They increased the damage of it. So that is, I believe that is the power. Whenever you play a soul. Yeah, Haunt. Whenever you play a soul, enemy loses 7, upgraded to 9. So it's a nice little buff, I guess. I don't know if I am going to change the way I play Necro with that change, but I've taken Haunt a couple times in the past. It's a fun card. Buffed Reeve. 13. Reeve still has the Soul Plus on it as well, I believe. So if we look at Reeve, upgraded 10 to 13. That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice, actually. My go-to common card that I like for damage is Blight Strike and and Fear. I also like Fear as like kind of the common attacks. Reeve is actually kind of nice. Like, I like it for the soul, but I don't love making soul decks. But I think with the little damage buff, maybe we take that a couple more times. When the Reeve upgrade also comes with another upgrade in the class, I feel like it is much easier to take. So we might be taking that quite a bit more often. And Soulstorm. Additional damage increase. Dude, they buffed the Soul Kit and Necrobinder. I don't think I'm going to play... Dude, 4 to 6 on Soulstorm? That's actually so relevant. Soulstorm just felt like it was such a slow scaling card. I think this is pretty relevant. I'll have to play with this. This, I think, is pretty big. They nerfed Compact. So Compact no longer draws cards, and the upgrade makes it give you 2 energy instead of 1. I would have liked it to no longer draw cards at base, and the upgrade allowing you to draw 1 card. I feel like this is a little heavy-handed. I feel like Aeon Glass is kind of their child, you know? And they saw that Compact really did make Aeon Glass a lot easier. And I think Compact in a lot of other fights was like a really awkward card to have in your deck until it actually worked. And it kind of has this thing where it can go infinite or pseudo-infinite if you get the perfect setup and stuff. And I know they want to remove infinites from the deck, but this does make the One of my favorite synergies in the Defect, the status effect synergy package, a lot worse. So I understand them wanting to remove infinites from the change. This does make me a little bit... I'll have to play with it before I actually, like, you know, say I'm not appreciative of it, because Defect does have some very good card draw in the status effect synergy, with cards like what's it called? Rocket Punch and Overclock, but I'm a little sad about that one. Momentum Strike, I don't think I care about this. We can take a look at it real quick. Momentum Strike. This is all right. 11 damage. I don't think I'm taking this. It's noticeably worse than Barrage. Like, I get that it turns into a 0 cost afterwards. I don't usually find myself in 0 cost synergies outside of, like, Go for the Eyes and Claw. Would I take a Momentum Strike over Claw? I'd rather just have a second Claw. It's less fun than Claw, is what I'll say. Right? So I'm probably just playing Claw still. I know that Scrape no longer discards cards whose energy costs are temporarily set to 0 by global temporary effects. Oh, so if you played, like, is it called Synthesis on the Defect? You play Synthesis and then you play Scrape, then you don't have to lose your stuff. That's kind of interesting. That's an interesting synergy. I don't know if it's good. The Shatter nerf. It was too good. If Shatter's gonna exhaust, it's probably where it should be. You could only have Shatter be there for so long. You know, you can't just have, like, an insane card with no downside. I think it exhausting is fine. I think this is probably... I don't know if this is how I would want Shatter to be changed, but it probably puts it in a balanced state. Because I think Shatter was a little bit overpowered with the evoking all your orbs twice. We can take a quick look at it. Shatter. Deal a bunch of damage, evoke all your orbs twice. That seems fair. That seems fair. Now for the part that I'm really excited about. New cards. Now I don't have these unlocked. Unlock all. For Ironclad. New card, rare. Attack. Midnight. Here we go. Deal 99 damage. Costs 1 less for each card exhausted this combat by anyone. Bro, I would take this in single player. I would... 12 cards for 120 damage, dude? Oh, dude, sign me up, dude. This is a single player card. Why does this have to be a multiplayer exclusive card? This is a crazy card. I think you... There's so many times in Ironclad where you just take Pax End and you're like, oh yeah, baby. You just have Fiend Fire in your deck. You just have cards that randomly exhaust on Ironclad, like Tremble. You know? I would click that card on site. Click this on site, baby. Try it out. 12 is a high number, but sometimes you just, you know, bloodletting and have 12, you know? I don't think it's crazy. I think it's just a good card. Blaze, I don't know if I like Blaze. It seems good. Don't get me wrong. It seems good. But Blaze, give another player 5 or 7 strength. Notably, this is much better than the absolute doo-doo that is Coordinate. This is just a stronger Coordinate. But even with it being a stronger Coordinate, it's probably good. It is 2 energy, which is something to keep in mind. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I'm clicking this. I'm skeptical, is what I'll say. But I will play with it. Outrage. This is hilarious. I think this might not be good, but it is hilarious, dude. I would do this to my friends just to have a couple laughs. Outrage. Uncommon attack. Here we go. Deal 9 damage. Add a copy of this card into everyone's discard pile. Dude, this looks good. This looks real good. I think this is hilarious. I'd do this to my friends. They're gonna do this to me too after I do it to them. I'm so excited to play with this card. This card, I think I'm clicking this on site for like the first week. For the first week. That just gets clicked on site. They reworked tank. It's changed from you take double damage to you take 50% extra damage from enemies. I don't think that I'm going to be taking tank still. I think it's a good... It's going in the right direction for like kind of where it wants to be. But I've always thought that tank was just a stronger beacon of hope. Or tank was just a weaker beacon of hope. And now that they've nerfed Beacon of Hope and they've buffed Tank, maybe it has a place for like a card you could take. I don't love it. I think maybe if you made this 25 and 25, it might be takeable. But like, I think 50%. Do I ever have enough block to take 50% additional damage? I don't know, Chief. I'm feeling a little weak. New silent multiplayer cards. Blade Symphony. Uncommon skill. Cost 1. Add 2 to 3 shivs. Add 2 upgraded to 3 shivs to all players' hands. That sounds amazing. It does say hand. So that's something to keep in mind. Blade Symphony. Add 2 upgraded to 3 shivs to all players' hands. This just sounds good. I would take this. This is literally just, like, better. Okay, it's not better because it gives you less shivs, but overall, it gives everybody more shivs. This sounds really good. We can take a look at the Concoct and Fade from here, too. Whenever another player... Choose another player. Whenever their attacks deal unblocked damage this turn, they apply 4 poison. 3 poison. That seems pretty decent. You could, like, Concoct and then Blade Symphony. I think there's a vision there. I don't think that this is crazy, but I think it's in the right direction for, like, balanced. Like, you have to remember that Silent used to have freaking flanking at uncommon, and flanking has been moved to rare, which I think flanking is still just unbelievably strong, and you take it every time you see it, but... I think that this is pretty good. I'd probably try this out a couple times. This has retain. First of all, very important. You see this word here, retain? Might be the most important word that a card could say that has an effect like this. Right? You put retain on some of these other cards that are just awful. You put retain on coordinate, suddenly you can actually play coordinate, alright? I think that this is interesting enough that I might try it out. It also notably costs nothing. This is free. But this gives no benefit to yourself. Like, a lot of the cards that I consider good, like, I love the Blade Symphony, because this gives myself shivs. And I like cards that benefit everybody, including myself. I like the design space of that. I think that when a card gives me no benefit, I'm a little bit more skeptical because, like, oftentimes you're playing with friends, you're casual, you don't want to coordinate with everybody. This is a powerful effect. I don't know if I'm gonna play around with it too much, just from the way that it's designed. Flanking nerf. We're back to here. Flanking nerf. This is such a valid nerf. Flanking was just one of the strongest cards in the game, if not the strongest. New multiplayer regent cards. Plot. Next turn, all players draw 2 upgraded to 3 cards. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's take a look in game. I know this isn't the card. Whenever another player draws 1 card, gain energy. Another player draws 1 card, gains 1 energy, and gains 12 block. Okay. Oh, that's so strong, but like, it says another player, dude. It says another player. Why can't it? Should be me. Next turn, all players draw 3 cards. Dude, Shinji, get in the mech, Shinji. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I love that art. I like plot. This sounds good because, like, oftentimes when you play what's it called? Huddle Up, people have already drawn cards on their turns. They might not have a full. They might not be able to benefit from it. You can play a plot, and they're guaranteed to get the benefit from it, and you get the benefit for it, and it doesn't exhaust. There's a lot of things that I like about this card. The only downside is it doesn't have any effect this turn. This sounds unbelievably strong. This sounds so good. If you just have 2 regents, and both of you have Constellation, you are infinite. So like that is something to keep in mind. I know they don't really care about like multiplayer infinites like that as much, but like that is just something. There's an infinite there. New Necrobinder cards: Underworld, Soulbound, and Cacophony. 2 uncommons and 1 rare. Let's take a look. Soulbound. Choose an ally. Whenever you create a soul, add a soul to their draw pile. Innate. Dude, this is such a good card. This just sounds amazing. Now, notably, it's only 1 ally, so in like duos, this is the strongest. But even in like a group, Soulbound sounds hilarious. I love that. Whenever other players deal attack damage this turn, apply that much doom. This is flanking. This is flanking, and they don't want you to read that as flanking, but that's flanking. I can read that's flanking. It's not quite flanking, but if I squint my eyes, that looks like flanking. That's really good. That's crazy good. And then let's check out the rare card. Cacophony. Every 33 cards drawn by all players deal 66 damage to a random enemy. Deal 99 damage to a random enemy. I was hoping that this would drop to 1 and keep at 66. But this is kind of crazy. 99 damage, 33 cards. So if you have a team of 4, everybody draws 5 cards a turn. That's 20 cards. You put a bunch of souls in everybody's deck. You're just drawing a bunch of cards, right? This sounds really fun. I like the design space that this is in. That sounds really good. Legion of Bone no longer exhausts. I think that's huge. I liked Legion of Bone. I think the number on Legion of Bone was a little low for it to be exhausting, in my personal opinion. But like Legion of Bone was a 2-cost card, so you could play it with Dance Macabre. So Legion of Bone seemed pretty good. New defect cards: Hibernate, All for One, One for All, Imitation Learning. So 2 rares and an uncommon. Let's take a look. This turn, your Frost grants all allies block channel Frost. Oh lordy. Holy cow. Dude, this is just Glacier. This is just Glacier Plus. Holy cow. That's crazy. This is so good. This is so good. If I squint really hard, this kind of just looks like Rally. Dude, that's crazy good. That was the uncommon. Let's look at the rares. Imitation Learning. Choose another player. The next 2 times they play a power, you play a copy of it. Exhaust. The next 3 times they play a power. This is something that I think might be a little excessive. Because here's the thing. The next 3 times they play a power, you play a copy of it. This is a greedy card. So I think that you can have cards, multiplayer cards, that benefit other players and benefit all players. I don't know if I like the design space of you getting all the benefit of a multiplayer card. That might just be my opinion, because I feel like most other multiplayer cards follow a different design space of either every player gets a benefit or the other player gets a benefit. I think I don't know if I like the design space of this. I do think that if you chose another player and the next 3 powers you played, they played a copy of it, I think that might be a little too strong, because Defect has cards like Echo Form. So if you can just give another player Echo Form, I think that might be too strong. I think this is... I don't know if I like the design space of Imitation Learning. And then One for All. Everybody's 0-cost attacks deal 3, upgraded to 4 additional damage. That seems good. I would like a... I'd like to take this in single player. You know, the Defect has a 0-cost deck. You know? This would be a good card in single player. You know? It's a shame that this is exclusive to multiplayer, is kind of my thoughts on it. Ignition has been moved from rare to uncommon. I think that's good. Ignition felt a little bit underwhelming to take as your rare card, but it felt strong. I think it's pretty strong at uncommon. New multiplayer colorless card, the Ball. Dude, I love... This is a design space that I think is underappreciated in this game. Of kind of the hot potato, the Ball. Deal 10 damage, increase this card's damage by 15 and this combat, and give it to a random ally. Now, when it says give it to a random ally, I'm assuming that it's going to put this in their discard pile or their deck. I don't think they can reasonably put this in their hand. I think that would be absurd. I'm curious if this puts it in their deck or this puts it in their discard pile. Or if it puts it in their hand. If it puts it in their hand, I think this is too strong. I think if it puts it in their deck, this is kind of just a hilarious card that I would love to play. I think if it's in the discard pile, you play the Ball, you have to wait for your ally to reshuffle their entire deck, then they play the ball, then you have to wait for, you know, I think it's too slow. I think this should be put in the deck. I have to make sure that it actually works that way. But I love the design space of this card. And with that, nerfed enemy block scaling in 2-player multiplayer. I think this is really reasonable. I've played a lot of 2-player. I don't think 2-player enemy block scaling is absurd, right? But I think I think that especially with enemy fights like the eels, that it can be a little bit rough. But like even in 4-player, I think the eels are a little bit rough because of the block scaling. The Beacon of Hope nerf is pretty relevant for tank, but I don't think the Beacon of Hope nerf is crazy. Pale blue dot power now counts down the number of cards. Dude, this is huge. I love this. I love this change for pale blue dot. I hated how I didn't know if I played 5 cards. And like if I wanted to play a big card rather than playing a bunch of small cards to get my pale blue dot triggering every turn. Infinitely play. Okay. Nightmare card can no longer be generated during combat. Oh, you can't nightmare a nightmare? That's crazy. Because that was this was an interaction that existed in Slay the Spire 1. I'm surprised they're changing that. But the big part of this patch, and the part that I'm most excited for, is the new multiplayer cards. I think this is huge. A lot of these I'd like to be able to play with in single player. Like, I would take a Midnight in single player. I think I would take One for All in single player. If I was physically able to take that card in single player, I would. But overall, I think this is a really fun patch, and I'd love to do some multiplayer with it. So look forward to that, and I'll be seeing from all of you soon. Bye-bye.